Our tower crew and our crew member 7 are doing those final preparations. Let's check in on that.
Your trap to space. We're going to get started with an astronaut contact. Astronaut lie. How do you read?
Astronaut lie. How do you read? No control. Astronaut lie. Loud and clear.
Astronaut Niels. How do you read?
Astronaut Niels. How do you read? Niels. Loud and clear.
Astronaut Marco. How do you read?
Astronaut Marco. How do you read? Polo. Loud and clear.
Astronaut Marty. How do you read?
Astronaut Marty. How do you read? Astronaut Marty. All is good.
Astronaut Space Cadet. How do you read?
Space Cadet. How do you read?
Astronaut March. How do you read?
Astronaut March. How do you read? Astronaut March. Okay.
All right. Blue Control has all astronauts loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
At this point, Sarah's out.
Sarah's out.
You're going to see Felix for a moment, and then we'll be getting into.
Thanks for joining us for our 4th human flight. As you just heard, those were our capsule communicators, Kevin Sprague and crew member 7 in training, Laura Stiles, checking in with our 6 astronauts today. George Niels, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and the architect of New Shepard, Blue Origin's very own Gary Lai, are loaded into the RSS First Step, awaiting a life-changing experience to space and back.
And we just had a great shot of Gary and his smile, and of course, the RSS First Step over the hatch. It means reusable spaceship. This capsule has already gone to space 5 times, and it did so in the span of 12 months. Operational reusability, like today's 6th flight, is an underlying philosophy at Blue. It's fundamental to ultimately and dramatically reducing the cost of access to space. I'm just blown away when I think about New Shepard's vehicles being designed for 100 uses. We work towards that goal step by step.
We're at just about T-minus 23 minutes until launch. While we have a moment, let's take a closer look at today's 4th human flight crew, dubbed the Roaring 20s.
I love that name.
I've really been interested in space since I was a child. Used to cut out articles in the newspaper about the space chimps and the Mercury astronauts.
One of my earliest childhood memories was watching an Apollo launch off the coast of Florida, and it was amazing. I wanted to be an astronaut.
What order do you press in your heart?
I've been working on New Shepard from the very beginning. I've been involved in every single aspect of the design and production of the vehicles.
I used to parachute jump, and I like the adrenaline rush that you get. And this has got to be off the charts.
Our family has always thought we've been crazy because we do some high experience things. And I think by the time we got to this one, there was a little bit of acceptance that that's who they are, and there's not a whole lot we can say about it.
Having been to all 193 countries and to be able to go to space and see this borderless planet, I think is so meaningful, especially given all that the world is going through right now.
I think space is really our future.
This is so exciting because we're on the edge of a new generation, a new frontier.
We must explore and understand the universe, and especially our local solar system.
This is a new era of the unbelievable, where a teacher from North Carolina gets to go to space.
The the day of the launch when that rocket gets in and you start feeling the power of it, I don't even know what I'm going to think.
Looking out the window and seeing the black sky and the curvature of the Earth is really going to be special.
Here I am with this opportunity of a lifetime, and it's just amazing.
To be able to fly with this crew and Gary was such a major role in creating New Shepard has just me.
Where are you guys going? Space!
Yeah, let's fly.
The crew, the Roaring 20s are in the capsule, and that hatch is closed. Eddie, I love the name they gave themselves. An ode, I think, to so many things. This is New Shepard's 20th mission.
That's right.
We're in the 2020s.
And we're
maybe the roar we saw just a minute ago. But first, we want to share a piece featuring Kevin in a new segment.
Club for the Future works with students from across the country to provide the chance to ask Blue Origin experts questions about rockets and engines and space. And my new favorite segment, our very first, Q for Blue.
Hi, my name is Hazia Puga. I go to SEAM Academy and I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. Right now in physics, I am studying gravitational energy and mass versus weight. My question is, what is the speed of the capsule on re-entry with and without the parachute? Thank you.
This is a great question because it really shows you the effect of our atmosphere on a spacecraft. The descent phase of flight starts at the very top of the capsule's ascent, called apogee, which happens around 350,000 feet. At this point, the capsule comes to a momentary complete stop and then begins to fall back to Earth, accelerating the entire way, reaching speeds of over 2,000 miles an hour, more than 3 times the speed of sound. Once the capsule re-enters the atmosphere, its wide, flat-bottom shape causes drag. The capsule keeps falling at about 250 miles per hour until the moment the parachutes are deployed. Once that happens, the capsule speed drops to an easy 16 miles an hour, and our soft landing system activates just before touchdown to give the astronauts a nice, gentle landing.
And what an insightful question from Club for the Future. Kevin, thank you for walking us through that. Safe to say, Jackie, that we'll be able to live that right now. We'll see it live and we'll be able to apply everything we've learned as it's happening real time.
That's right, Eddie, and we're just about 18 and a half minutes away from that moment. Let's take a quick breather. We'll be right back. If you're just joining us, we're at about T-minus 16 minutes until our fourth human flight. As you can see from these beautiful shots, our crew are strapped in, the hatch is closed, and the tower crew is just doing some final checkouts prior to today's mission, alongside crew member 7, Sarah Knight, standing there in the black flight suits.
And can you imagine their view? These largest windows, some of the largest windows to have flown in space, they're sitting 80 feet in the air, looking out on the far west Texas desert, and there's this world-class launch pad right next to them.
Crew member 7, Sarah Knight, waving to the crew as she departs the tower.
I think I saw a thumbs up.
Coming up here shortly, we're going to have a very special message for today's crew from some of the astronauts who have flown on New Shepard before. Coming up here shortly will be the voice of our capsule communicator, Kevin Sprague. Let's listen in.
Crew, the NS-19 crew, who called themselves the Original Six, and they wanted to wish you well, the Roaring 20s, on your flight to space. Astronaut Michael Strahan, known as Astronaut Stray, wanted you to know the trip will go by in a flash in the moment, but your memory will make it seem like it was hours. Let your senses take over. Enjoy the ride. Take it all in, and don't forget to look out the window. Astronaut Weezer, Laura Shepard Churchley, wanted you to know you are confident to go because you have had the best training for this magnificent experience. The force you feel on launch is like being in the fastest car you've ever been in, and the pressure on your chest is great, but endurable. Weightlessness is heavenly. The 6Gs you feel on the way back home are thrilling because you won't ever feel that amount of pressure on your body again in your life. Try lifting your arms off the armrest when you're under 6G. This is the best ride you will ever have, but it's way too short. Have a blast. Standby 1. First step, blue control. We're getting ready to go escape enabled. Look for that blue light. Taylor wanted you to know you are about to see the universe as it truly is. Thoroughly enjoy the experience, and then take this gift of perspective to help make a better world for all of humanity.
It's so cool to see the community of Blue Origin astronauts getting a little larger, launch by launch, step by step. We had a few messages there from the previous crew, the original 6, and just what perspective. I think I heard that New Shepard is the best ride ever, too. So I'm going to quote that. We have entered a hold at the moment, and we're going to hang out here while we get back to you.
Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight. Our crew is buckled into the capsule. We're in a brief hold here, but New Shepard did just hit a big milestone in today's operations and went escape enabled. Eddie, tell us about the significance of this moment.
That's right, Jackie. Escape enabled is a pivotal moment in our flight preparation. Earlier, we talked about the full envelope escape system that we've thoroughly tested here in West Texas, all the way from the launch pad to max Q to near apogee escapes. So this system enables our mission assurance today. And so they've got a lot of roomy space in the capsule, 15 cubic meters to float around, but they will be protected the entire time by this escape system.
Of course, safety is at the center of everything we do here at Blue Origin. We'll be right back.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today for Fourth Human Flight. We remain in a brief hold here, but you are getting some beautiful views of Van Horn, Texas in the background from our amazing camera crew. We actually have an expert here at the desk today. Eddie lived in Van Horn and worked at Launch Site 1 for a large part of his career at Blue Origin, many years. Eddie, tell us about your time at Launch Site 1, living in Van Horn in this amazing and special community.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jackie. I've been so lucky to have started my career here at Blue Origin at our West Texas Launch Site 1, working on the West Texas test stands. Van Horn is really in the middle of nowhere, West Texas, but it's a slice of home for me and for us at Blue Origin. We moved to Van Horn in 2006. Our founder, Jeff Bezos, gave the scoop to the Van Horn Advocate all those years ago that we were going to be here, that they would hear the roar of our engines and see the beautiful flying vehicles go to the edge of space and back. Now that operation has changed since 2006. We've grown a lot. We're over 300 employees and we've launched 19 times, going on 20, and we continue to test the BE3 engine, the BE3 propulsion module, the BE3U engine for New Glenn, and of course the BE4 engine for Vulcan for New Glenn. And it's an incredible operation. Our team here has a dream job. They design, they build, they test, they push those systems to the limit, and then they learn. And it's part of the reason that we're able to today with certainty say that we believe and are proud of our mission assurance that this BE3 engine and this New Shepard system will keep our astronauts safe on this incredible ride to space.
Van Horn is truly such a special place. Every time we're here, we love seeing the signs of support for Blue Origin. The community here is truly unmatched.
Absolutely, and I'm so proud of the employees that have helped and have gotten involved in the community and have really helped Van Horn grow up with us. And that's super important because this is our home.
So special. Thank you for those special memories and insights, Eddie. We remain in a brief hold here, so let's check out more of those beautiful West Texas views and we'll be right back. As you can see, we currently remain in a hold while Mission Control makes sure all systems and weather are aligned for today's flight. But while we have a moment, let's talk about how our learnings from the BE3 engine flying today on New Shepard are carried forward into the BE3U program.
Here at Blue Origin, we're building the next generation of American-made rocket engines.
We picked hydrogen for New Shepard so that we could get the learning that we needed for our ultimate orbital launch vehicles. We need the performance from hydrogen for the upper stage.
The BE3PM engine is highly reusable, human-rated. It provides a really good opportunity for us to practice.
Since we've been able to fly BE3PM on multiple New Shepard flights, we learned a lot about how to operate a hydrogen-oxygen engine. So now they've taken the BE3PM design and optimized it for use in space as a second stage engine for New Glenn. We call it BE3U.
The BE3PM is about 110,000 pounds thrust, and the BE3U is 160,000 pounds thrust. There's 7 BE4s that are the booster engine for New Glenn. The BE3U engine is the upper stage engine, so at about 200,000 feet at altitude, it lights off and takes the payload into orbit. We're engine testing now. We're doing a few design tweaks based on what we've learned, and by the end of this year, we should be up to full rate production.
It is just an exhilarating feeling to watch all of our hard work come together and see that engine actually come to life.
One of the reasons I came to Blue after a career of doing engines is just the numbers of engines we're doing. We're supporting research, production, flight. That's unique to Blue.
I thoroughly enjoyed all of those shots of our West Texas test stands. Jackie, when I first moved to West Texas, I started on the BE3 engine test stand. We call it the Geeks test stand, the Giant Engine Experiment test stand. And it's a prolific test stand that tests both the BE3PM version and the BE3U upper stage version. For a little over 10 years now, that test stand has been testing full-scale BE3 engines. They've ratcheted up 1,000 different hot fires and over 100,000 seconds of test. So when I say it's prolific, it's because they test day in and day out.
Our propulsion test operations here at Blue Origin are just truly incredible. I'm always inspired by what the team can accomplish out here in West Texas, down in Huntsville, Alabama. Truly impressive and inspiring stuff. Very excited soon here too to see our test stand 4670 at Marshall Space Flight Center. That historic test stand tested the Saturn V that flew America to the moon. So privileged to be leasing that from NASA Marshall to test the BE4 and the BE3U engines.
And what a story for 4670. In the 60s, like you said, it was used to test the Saturn V rocket. And then in the 80s, they did a little bit of space shuttle main engine testing. In the 90s, that test stand actually tested the Russian rocket, the RD-180. And then it went into a little bit of a pause, did some SLS testing. But what a legacy that we've inherited from the RD-180 to the BE4. That is the new paradigm shift in rocket propulsion.
That's right, Eddie. I have to say, I get to visit our facilities a lot, very lucky, and I love visiting 4670. You can feel the history there, truly a special experience. We are still in a hold at this time, but we'll be right back. We remain in a hold in our countdown today to make sure everything is ready to fly. While we have a moment, let's talk some more about safety. Of course, our #1 priority at Blue Origin.
All in all, Jackie, safety drives everything we do at Blue Origin. There's nobody on Team Blue who does a better job of elegantly communicating this than Blue Origin's Director of System Safety Engineering, Andrew Lake.
Andrew, you have such an important role at Blue Origin. So at Blue, when we say safety is a top priority, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's interesting, this idea of safety as a priority. And there are a lot of ways to think about this, but I see safety more as a core value that you build a business around. And a business like what we were thinking about for New Shepard and what Blue's doing in general is animated around this idea of safe and reliable systems.
So New Shepard went through this extensive test program, right? And we flew for what, 5-6 years before we put people on board. How do you know that you're done?
In a certain sense,
instilling safety into both the vehicle and the how it operates?
Yeah, there are a couple of ways you kind of go about it. The first thing you have to do is you have to set goals, safety performance goals, safety performance thresholds, to help you understand when you've met those thresholds. But in any program, you're never really done. You always want to look for opportunities to improve the system, both operationally, both for safety, both for reliability as well. And so we always have to maintain a humility that comes with flying rockets with these kinds of energies involved. And so we, and the ops team that we're about to go fly this mission, I've never seen a team more diligent, more patient, and the constant awareness and the vigilance required to say, raise issues and make sure they're addressed before we decide that it's time to fly people.
It's taken a team of people to get to this point, to be flying people on New Shepard. What would you say to this team?
I'm humbled to work with this team. It would be lying to say that 3 people who happen to have voted as part of a much larger tech for human flight certification are the people who decided that we're safe enough. Hundreds of people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. Each of them immensely individually focused on not just the safety of the system, but the reliability of the system. And then there's the work that our team does to kind of partner with them to help them the opportunity to work with them to have to lead the safety mission assurance efforts with this team.
Well, tell me this. Would you fly a New Shepard?
I would add, and let me just say this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people at Blue that would be excited to fly New Shepard, and I'm happy to count myself as one of them. It's a fantastic system. It's a very robust system. And yeah, if I ever had the opportunity to fly, I'll wink a little bit at the folks making these decisions. I would be super excited.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we get to go one day.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew Lake, for that incredible discussion of New Shepard safety systems with backups and backup to the backups, and even in some cases, backup to the backup to the backup. We are still in a hold, as you can see from the screen, so we're going to enjoy some shots of the New Shepard rocket in the West Texas desert.
While we have a moment here, let's talk about New Glenn, our orbital program. Recently, we performed an incredible separation test on the world's largest fairing for our New Glenn rocket.
We're here at NASA's Armstrong Test Facility in Sandusky, Ohio. We took the fairing from New Glenn, the world's largest fairing, to the world's largest vacuum chamber. It's the only place in the world that we can test out this fairing in an environment similar to what the rocket will be seeing in space.
Payload fairing is the nose of the rocket. Inside there is the satellite. The payload fairing's job is to protect the satellite as we ascend through the atmosphere.
This is the largest structure that has ever been tested here. The New Glenn fairing is 72 feet tall. So when we put that on top of the 26-foot test stand, we're taking up 98 feet of vertical space in the 120-foot chamber.
This jettison test is a huge milestone for us.
We will be firing ordnance that will separate the fairing within the chamber. When it separates, the fairing is going to create this huge breathing motion, and we want to make sure the edges aren't going to come in and hit the payload.
This test is important because it helps us qualify the payload fairing and prove out that we actually do separate as designed. So we'll be looking at things like deflections and stresses.
We have done a lot of component level verification. This is really the culmination of putting all those things together.
All cameras are up and awaiting trigger.
And it's going to all happen in a split second.
Firing in 3, 2, 1, fire.
It separated as expected. We collected a lot of really good data. After this first shot, we're going to test again. And once that is successful, we say, yes, the fairing is good to go.
It is so amazing, Eddie, to see New Glenn hardware in test. These moments are so incredible along this road to space, and it's very special. I'm going to say something nerdy and lame, Eddie. It's very special to be testing New Glenn at NASA Glenn.
That's right.
We love that. We do remain in a hold here to make sure all systems are go for today's launch, but we'll be right back. We remain in a hold here while Mission Control ensures that all systems are a go for launch. While we wait, let's talk about an exciting new project at Blue Origin, Orbital Reef. Blue Origin, in partnership with Sierra Space, is developing Orbital Reef, a commercially owned and operated space station to be built in low Earth orbit. The Orbital Reef team includes Boeing, Redwire, Genesis Engineering, Amazon Web Services, and Arizona State University, which brings proven capabilities and new visions to provide key elements and services, including unique experience from building and operating the International Space Station. Let's take a look.
There have been dreams for a very long time of robust commercial activities in space with growing populations and so forth. Now we have access to systems that cost less to launch and land, and we now understand how to build destination systems that last for a long time. It's the commercial world in which advanced capabilities get normalized and become a part of everyday life. Orbital Reef is a full-fledged commercial space station.
Think of it as a village. Think of it as many different organizations and people in their own parts of Orbital Reef doing their own activities,
where all types of companies can come together and do research and/or production, and also provide opportunities for tourists to come and just experience what space is like.
It's an ecosystem that will allow ideas to grow, to germinate, whole new fields and areas of economic arena, new science that we can't even imagine now.
Orbital Reef starts with two strategic partners, Blue Origin and Sierra Space. These two together have the fundamental elements that give us both transportation of cargo and crew and the destination system essentials. In addition, we have a set of expert teammates, which includes Boeing, who will be developing our research module.
We'll be providing crew and cargo transportation with the Starliner. And when the Orbital Reef is operational, we'll provide all of the operations and maintenance necessary to sustain the Orbital Reef.
Genesis, who are developing the single-person spacecraft for suitless extravehicular activity.
ASU is going to bring together this international group of 14 universities to work with Orbital Reef on the ethics and guidelines of research, on how we can bring to bear all of our expertise.
And Redwire, who provide in-space manufacturing.
Leveraging the microgravity environment to push new science, new discoveries, and new commercial applications.
We're working very hard to make sure that Orbital Reef is not just for the entities that have had access to space so far. It's intended to be humanity's footprint in Earth orbit, and that means all the nations and companies and peoples of the world.
I think that Orbital Reef offers us an opportunity at this point in history to really approach the next frontier as humans and to expand beyond the surface of the planet.
Maybe there's a company that wants to manufacture materials in space. Maybe there's a school that wants to send an experiment up. Maybe there's a nation that's ready to send someone into low Earth orbit to inspire their entire nation.
It's limitless. The implications of microgravity research, development, and manufacturing. Every aspect of our life, of industry, of science, will be impacted by the discoveries that we make on Orbital Reef.
This unique environment that's only a couple of 100 miles away from us is both transformative and accessible. It's incredibly exciting.
Our team is absolutely honored and thrilled to have received an award from NASA to continue advancing our orbital reef partners alongside our teammates. We actually at Blue Origin do have a lot of great experience with conducting this kind of microgravity research. Eddie, New Shepard has really been the test bed for this at Blue Origin. Can you tell us about that?
I'd love to, Jackie. We've got an incredibly capable payload integration management team that has flown over 11 successful payload flights on New Shepard, getting these researchers 180 seconds of microgravity and just advancing science as we know it. So kudos to them. And I'm just so proud of them, Jackie.
I am as well, Eddie. With that, let's take a quick breather and we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us for our fourth human flight, and thank you for sticking with us throughout this hold. I spoke with our flight director, Nick Patrick, earlier this week, and as you know, holds are, of course, a completely normal part of our launch process. Safety, as we've said multiple times on today's webcast, is always the #1 priority at Blue Origin. So we need to continue to take this time to do those checks and make sure this mission is ready for launch today. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us for our fourth human flight. As you may have seen on your screen, we did release the hold on the countdown clock. We're at T-minus 9 minutes and 30 seconds until our fourth human flight. Let's toss it to the rocket and stand by for mission control.
All stations, this is the flight director on Channel 1 and UHF voice for the go pull for terminal count and launch. Capsule.
Go.
Booster.
Go.
Ground. Go. Safety. Capcom.
Go.
Engineering. Go. Copy, all goes. This is flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence the terminal count.
We'll go flight.
As you just heard, we are go for launch for our 4th human flight. We're so excited for the Roaring 20s crew. Let's take a moment and take in the sights and sounds from Launch Site 1 as the minutes tick down on the launch clock here in West Texas. Okay, as we tick down to launch, Eddie, can you take us through today's New Shepard flight profile?
I'd love to, Jackie. So at T-minus 2.5 minutes, we effectively hand control over to our auto sequence. The flight controllers are essentially hands off. The rocket then gets ready to light the BE-3. Ignition happens at T0, followed by bootstrap and throttle up. Liftoff occurs at T+7 seconds, and that BE-3 engine powers the New Shepard vehicle through the atmosphere. Just before 1 minute, the vehicle reaches max Q, that's maximum dynamic pressure, the point of maximum stress for the structure. At 2 minutes, that main engine shuts off. We call that MECO, and at 2.5 minutes, the New Shepard vehicles separate into two, and the astronauts are free to float about the cabin. The PM reaches apogee at 4 minutes and starts to re-enter the atmosphere due to Earth's gravity. The fins steer back to the landing pad. The drag brakes deploy. The engine restarts for a nice, soft landing. Meanwhile, the astronauts were able to enjoy some microgravity time because the gumdrop shape of the capsule was much slower to re-enter. As that capsule pierces the atmosphere, we see drogues, we see mains, and shortly thereafter, the terminal deceleration system that causes the capsule to land on a cushion of air, that poof of dust. Touchdown, welcome back, astronauts. I'm so excited.
Thanks, Eddie. We're just about T-minus 5 minutes until liftoff. The 6 people on that live rocket are getting close to launching to space. Let's check in with them on the pad. We're just under T-minus 4 minutes to launch of the Roaring 20s crew. Eddie, you've been so lucky to be down here in West Texas for many a launch. What's happening across Launch Site 1 at this point when we're so close to liftoff?
Well, Jackie, it all starts at Mission Control. They are focused with final preparations, and it's a laser focus. They are there working through their steps, making sure that their systems are ready for launch. And we're just moments away from that here. Those bit checks, like we mentioned, will start at 2.5 minutes.
And the cool thing about those final checks, I mean, our crew is on board. They're feeling, they're hearing this living rocket. Just truly such an exciting moment for them.
Absolutely. That rocket is alive on the launch pad.
Thank you for joining us. As you've noticed, we've just entered what we expect to be a very brief hold here, just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, that hold has been cleared. We're at about 3 minutes until launch. We understand the Roaring 20s, all 6 astronauts on board our 4th human flight are ready to go. Let's watch and listen as New Shepard goes through those final checks and revs up for today's flight.
And Jackie, as we mentioned, we've now entered auto sequence. So this rocket is going to automatically prep itself for launch. I can't wait to see what shows on our screen as the rocket prepares for liftoff. With just under 90 seconds to go, those aft fins at the base are actuating, going through their bit checks. They provide control authority for the vehicle on ascent and descent. At the same time, we should be able to see the engine nozzle gimbal. It will help maneuver the rocket as its primary form of control. We've entered a brief hold in that final countdown. Our teams will assess. We'll be right back.
That hold has been released. We're at about T-minus 1 minute to liftoff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to launch this rocket. Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed to our crew. We're handing it over to Mission Control.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff. New Shepard cleared the tower.
And liftoff. Mission Control has confirmed New Shepard has cleared the tower and is on its way to space with our 4th human flight crew.
Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed, the Roaring 20s. Enjoy this ride.
You can see on the lower left-hand side of your screen, we are gaining speed as New Shepard lifts off towards space. That beautiful burn on that BE-3 engine, lifting New Shepard towards space.
As we hit T plus 55 seconds, we will enter max Q, the point where aerodynamic stress on the vehicle is at its maximum. We just confirmed max Q, and that BE-3 engine doing some work, 8,000 horsepower equivalent of it to produce 110,000 pounds of thrust on its way to space. We have a beautiful shot of the BE-3 engine there and its colorless exhaust. That's what happens when you mix liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. That is steam powering the rocket all the way up to the top. Here in 20 seconds, the BE-3 will throttle back, shut down, and will reach main engine cutoff. Stay tuned. There it is. Nico, way to go, BE-3. Thank you for powering our astronauts to space.
That was our main engine cutoff. Shortly here, we'll see separation of the crew capsule and the booster. At this point, our Capcom Kevin Sprague will momentarily cue the astronauts to unbuckle their harnesses and start floating around the capsule. Welcome to Zero Gravity, Gary Lai and crew of the Roaring 20s. Beautiful shot there of the 2 separate craft. George Neal, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and Gary Lai. Welcome to Zero G. Let's listen in as they float about the crew capsule.
What? All right.
First step, Blue Control. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Congratulations to all 6 crew. They crossed that Kármán line. They just officially became astronauts. Absolutely outstanding. You heard that audio online from Kevin Sprague, our capsule communicator, telling our crew, I'm sure they're having an amazing time up there. but they have to start getting ready to buckle back in shortly here. Both the crew capsule and the booster will be descending.
That's right, Jackie. So unofficial numbers, but we saw an apogee of 351,000 feet. So definitely well into the Kármán line, well into space. Congratulations, astronauts. The rocket is now reaching, this is the booster portion of New Shepard, is reaching its atmospheric pierce point. It's returning from space. Those control surfaces, those wedge fins, those actuated aft fins are now starting to have a little bit of air resistance to push against. The booster will reach its maximum re-entry velocity, which is just under Mach 4. That's 4 times the speed of sound. And it's an incredible booster shape coming back down over the West Texas desert against those Texas blue skies. This is the fun part. The wedge fins, the steering fins, the ring fin, all earning their keep at this point, really doing some work to bring that propulsion module over the landing pad. What an incredible sight out there. Here shortly, we'll see the air brakes deploy that will cut the velocity of the booster in half. There it is. This is a critical step in slowing the vehicle down before the BE-3 engine is reignited for the final portion of the descent. We had a sonic boom. Man, was that incredible. I love hearing that sound. And the BE-3 engine relights for the final portion of the descent. Touchdown, New Shepard. Welcome back to Earth. What an incredible feat of engineering required to bring this rocket back safely, reuse it. All I can ever say, Jackie, is wow.
Wow, Eddie, truly, no matter how many times we've seen this happen, a live booster landing onto that landing pad will take your breath away. And I have to say, Eddie, the char on the side of that New Shepard booster, there's nothing like it.
Right above that feather looks like, and we see, of course, the New Shepard propulsion module beginning to dump some of the excess propellants. That's a key step for our reusable booster. We'll vent the tanks, we will inert them, and that'll maintain the cleanliness throughout and allow that booster to turn around and fly again. We've got a great shot there of the capsule.
There go the drogue parachutes they've deployed on our crew capsule to slow it down. And there go those main parachutes. Those 3 mains will slowly inflate to help slow down the return of the crew capsule. While the parachutes are, of course, essential to provide a gentle touchdown for the crew capsule, New Shepard also has that innovative retro thrust system to make our touchdown even smoother for the Roaring 20s crew flying today. From the blackness of space to the beautiful West Texas desert, our crew is getting an experience right now.
That was a quick 10 minutes. Down all the race. Get ready for the ground rush.
First step, blue control. Stand by touchdown. Stand by touchdown.
Woo! Crew capsule touched Welcome back, the Roaring 20s and astronaut Gary Lai.
That sounds like some happy crew members there. From the sounds of it, maybe all landed back safely and are doing great. We'll get confirmation from Mission Control here shortly.
What a beautiful shot of that booster and capsule in the West Texas desert for what looks like a wholly successful fourth human flight. That West Texas does kick up there for our crew, welcoming them back to Earth. At this point in the mission, our team is preparing landing safety operations and recovery of our astronauts from the crew capsule. We'll be on the ground at the landing site to follow that action in just a bit. And hopefully, Eddie,
hopefully.
talk to some of the world's newest official astronauts. Waves from our crew members looking great back here on Earth through those beautiful windows on New Shepard.
And live footage of 2 reusable spacecraft next to each other. What an accomplishment. Congratulations, Roaring 20s. Congratulations, Team Blue. What a day today.
Just a truly incredible moment. Our astronauts have returned home safely. Our crew team is on the way out to recover them from the capsule. Wow. What a day.
As we've mentioned, it appears to be a safe launch and landing. So absolutely kudos, congratulations to the mission team and Mission Control for really pushing through it, staying determined on that long-term vision of flying people to space today.
Mission Control has officially confirmed, I think we can see it from the windows, but they've officially confirmed they've spoken with all 6 of our astronauts and they are doing great. Our crew has put the roaring in New Shepard 20. I think it is safe to say here today, Eddie, absolutely thrilled for these 6 astronauts.
And we've got just incredible shot right now of the desert, the mountains in the back, the blue skies. I can't wait to hear from these astronauts. What will they have to say about their experience today?
And there's our recovery crew racing through the desert out to the waiting crew capsule. Our recovery team will safe the capsule and ensure that the astronauts are ready to disembark. Shortly thereafter, they'll be followed by their friends and family. Eddie and I know they can't wait to give them a big hug and welcome them back to Earth.
For the friends and family in particular, a moment of anticipation before they welcome their astronauts back to Earth with warm hugs, kisses, and just celebration.
Thank you for joining us for what was a successful fourth human flight. Our recovery team has arrived on site. Stay tuned here because hopefully we'll be able to again hear from some of our crew members about these amazing experiences. Stay tuned. There's crew member 7, Sarah Knights, racing over to wave to the world's newest astronauts. Get that thumbs up from all 6 on board. The Roaring 20s crew is back, and there you see our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, with those stairs getting ready to open the hatch here in just a few moments. Beautiful shot there of our crew with their ride in the background, venting the propellants like Eddie mentioned just a few minutes ago.
And we see the vehicles approaching the crew capsule. That's going to be friends and family. And hopefully, as we said, we'll get a few words from our newly minted astronauts. And we'd be remiss to not mention huge kudos to our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, down there about to open the hatch. Our capsule communicator, Kevin Sprague, that was with our crew through the duration of their flight. Just an amazing role this crew member 7 does, shepherding our crew through this entire experience from astronaut training to touchdown. That's absolutely right, Jackie. It's why we call it Crew Member 7. We, Team Blue, through Sarah and through Kevin, ride with these astronauts to space and back, and we're with them every step of the way.
Welcome back, Fairy Astronauts. Okay, when you come out, watch your steps out. There's kind of a big section. Come on out.
The hatch is open. Welcome back, Gary Live.
George Neal, congratulations. We should also have, there's Jim Kitchen with the 194. Congratulations. Thank you, Marty Allen, for writing the space today.
As we promised, allergies did not hold Marty back today.
And there's Miss Sharon Hagel with the fist pump. Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, Mark Hagel. Welcome back, Mark.
Camera's over.
Whoa.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
You loved it?
Oh, you got. I want you to do it. You're next. It was very
I don't know that I could even, words could do that justice. Just have to feel it.
How is it going up for you? Was it everything you'd hoped for? Was it everything you'd expected it to be?
It was different. I mean, I don't know, because I've never been in the centrifuge, so I didn't, I felt my skin pulling taut, and I think more dramatic than even the 0G was the throttle back from 3G. When we throttled down, I felt like I was rising there, and even the entire time I felt I was in 0G, I felt like I was falling towards the ceiling. So it was intense, and I did get a little bit of a feeling of vertigo.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. And I know most of the astronauts have said in the past that they haven't felt nauseous. I did feel a little bit of nausea for sure. Yeah.
What about the windows?
Oh, yeah, it was like being outside. It was like being.
Wow, that's so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
It was a beautiful, clear day. I don't know exactly what we were seeing, but we were seeing. I'm so overcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for Team Blue. Thank you for this opportunity. I will never forget it.
Thank you. Thank you for making this real, making it a possibility for us to be able to send people. It happened.
I was worried there. 45-minute hold. We were only supposed to have a 30-minute hold, and then we scrubbed.
Yeah, did you talk to George about that?
It was Texas Hold'em.
Thank you. Great. Do you want me to put this on? Jim, show me what do you have here?
Yeah, this is, we were joking
193
about
in space. It was
scary on the line.
What What is 193?
193 is the countries that I visited. I brought all of my passports with me, representing all of the countries in the world, and this was pushing that final boundary, going to space. And let me tell you, that was an out-of-body experience. I was thinking that on the way up, you're going 2,300 miles an hour, and you feel every bit of that, and then you get
It's a public
time
safety issue.
It's like
downlink, and so
it's like this moment in time where you see this beautiful Earth and the blackness of the universe. It's the blackest black I have ever seen, and I said that, it's like that is an eternal black. It is a dark black, and it is just breathtaking. And wow, I don't know. That was a moment. That was a moment, and you know, connecting with humanity all around the world. That seeing that big, beautiful.
Go Tar Heels!
Yes, go Tar Heels.
Reaching for the
yeah, right.
Here's your hat.
Yeah, here.
I'll hold it.
You got this. I love you.
Amazing words from their incredible experience. So special to hear from our crew. Also coming up here shortly will be our special astronaut pin ceremony. Stay tuned for more.
Come on. Okay. George, tell us, how was it?
It was awesome, amazing. You cannot be put into words. As soon as we got above 100,000 feet, you saw the sky getting darker, and when it turned to pitch black, it was just gorgeous. The pictures don't do it justice. So between the black sky and the curvature of the Earth, and then having the freedom of floating around and upside down, just an amazing trip. Just thrill of a lifetime.
That's fantastic. So it was everything that you had hoped for
And
in
more.
your entire career fighting for this, right?
Wow. Yeah, here we are, letting more people go to space, and wow, they're going to like it when they try it.
And there you have it from Dr. George Neal himself. Pictures don't do it justice. You'll just have to see it for yourself.
That's right. And George, what an amazing, amazing moment for him. He's been a public servant his whole career, advocating for the commercial space industry, and to have just become an astronaut himself on a commercial space flight. What a moment. We're getting set up right now for that special astronaut pinning ceremony. Can't wait to see this crew get their wings.
So what are we doing?
Just tell me what happened. What was your experience?
I think going up, I was thinking it was going to be 50% weightlessness and 50% the view. When we got up there, it became 5% the weightlessness and 95% the view. The weightlessness was neat, but the view of looking to space, which is as black as your uniform, seeing the earth, and then you could look down, and you know how the farmers, when you're in a plane, they have the circles, you could see all those, and it was incredible. We just got to get, all of America's got to get caught up to this, and we need a lot of people up here. I'm still stunned for words. The weightlessness was great. We weren't up there long enough to really enjoy the weightlessness, where you could eat and play with objects. It's the view. You look out of an airplane at 35,000 feet and realize that we're 10 times that height up there. It was unbelievable. It's got to be for the astronauts who go into space where it's all black. That's got to be incredible. I'm just thinking, God, I wish I were in the blackness looking back. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Just unreal. Thank you so much. Your training was off the charts.
Oh,
We got in and it was like, oh, this is just what we've been doing for the last few days.
Good. That's the intention.
It was unbelievable.
That you can relax
But I did even do, I wanted to do somersaults and all that, and I was just taken back by the view. It's you can't put it into words. You just have to see it.
Yeah.
You can't put it into words. And coming down, that's where you really felt the G's coming down. When we separated, the capsule almost felt like it was starting to fall right then. That feeling. And then you just realize you're there and you can't describe it.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Awesome.
that's it. Cut.
Thanks, Freddie.
Thank you.
Lots of proud Cornell grads watching, I'm sure. Gary live, proudly waving the flag. I'm sure they're eager to have him come visit campus.
And making Team Blue proud as well. I think I see the astronauts starting to line up for this awaited pin ceremony. What an exciting time. And to hear from the astronauts just like we wanted to, and the reflections, I'm sure, over time will grow more and more beautiful.
Yes, down here, please.
Oh, we can do it. Yeah, we can do it. Very much. Exactly. Yeah. Good thought.
I'll step back. Okay, thank you. Yep.
Ready to start.
Yep.
10 minutes in.
It's cold out here.
Brisk.
And here to lead us through this very special pin ceremony is our Vice President of New Shepard, Audrey Powers.
Woo! Congratulations on your flight today. Okay, I have some astronaut pins here. George, you have dedicated an entire career to progressing this industry, and I am so honored to be part of the team that flew you to space and helped you become an astronaut.
Thank you.
On behalf of an entire industry, thank you very much for your work and congratulations.
Thank you, George.
Jim, the great explorer, astronaut Marco, right? After a lifetime of exploring, congratulations on crossing your 194th border today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Marty, right one, Marty. Marty, also a great adventurer. I hope that the view out the window was even better than you thought.
Fabulous.
It was?
Fabulous.
Good. Congratulations on this most grand adventure.
When are we going again?
That's right. Sharon, you've inspired so many children and you've done so much work to inspire our next generation of space explorers. Thank you very much for all the work you do with our next generation, and congratulations.
You're making cry.
Thank you. You deserve it. You deserve to cry a little bit. And Mark, my fellow Boilermaker.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Purdue.
indeed. Congratulations.
Number
on your flight
29
today.
from Purdue.
That's right. I'm so glad that you were able to share this with Sharon.
Thank you.
There you are. And Gary, my friend Gary. You make Blue proud every single day, every single one of us. You are our colleague, you are our mentor, you are our friend. And without you, none of this is possible. On behalf of a deeply, deeply grateful Team Blue, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was amazing, Eddie. I think it's safe to say all of us across Team Blue might be a little teary-eyed right now. Not speaking for you, speaking for myself, though.
Astronaut Audrey Powers, is there anything that woman can't do?
Thank you all. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today for Blue Origin's 4th human flight. A huge and very special thank you to our customers, George Neild, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, and Marty Allen. Well, customers and now astronauts. If you're interested in purchasing your seat on a future rocket ride to space and back, it starts by visiting blueorigin.com and clicking Fly to Space. Eddie, thank you so much for sharing the desk with me today and adding your invaluable perspective from your vast experience here at Blue Origin.
Anytime, Jackie. It was an honor. This was so much fun, and I'm so proud of everybody on Team Blue.
The road to space is being built, and we took another big step today. If you're interested in joining our extraordinary team, please visit our careers page on the website.
And if you'd like to commemorate today's launch, we have mission patches, swag, and so much more.
I'm Jackie Cortez. For Eddie Seyfert and everybody here at Blue Origin, thank you again for joining us. And until our next mission, Gradatum Ferociter.